Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman from our College Football Today studios here exclusively for CBS Sportsline. Once Jeremy Ito's game-winning field goal split the uprights on Thursday night, the national debate began. If Rutgers manages to run the table and stay undefeated, do they deserve to be in the BCS championship game? On paper, they should. They're an unbeaten team from a BCS conference. Hey, if it were West Virginia, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. So if Rutgers wins out, let's start with this question, Spencer. Should they make it to the BCS championship game over the Ohio State-Michigan loser?
Well, should they? Yes. Will they? No. I mean, because at this point, although we've had one-loss teams playing for the championship half the time, even an undefeated team, if they make it at this point, only starting in that fifth position to make it all the way up to number one, it has never happened before. So sitting in that 13 hole in the BCS, there's no way Rutgers make it to the championship game.
All right, I understand that. I agree. Then the following question must be asked. Of the one-loss teams, Florida, Texas, Auburn, USC, Cal, Notre Dame, and Arkansas, how many of those teams would have to lose before you'd put an unbeaten Rutgers in the BCS championship?
Without even counting, I think at least 5 of those teams, 5 of the top 6 teams would have to fall before Rutgers gets a chance to move up ahead of them.
Okay, regrettably, I agree with my partner here. But here's the point. If it does occur, it will be the first time in the history of the Bowl Championship Series that a member institution that's unbeaten would be bypassed by a one-loss team. And I thought it was interesting. You and I had a chance to visit with Mike Tranghese this week, and he's taking the high road, telling all of his ADs and coaches, including, obviously, the ones at Rutgers, take the high road, don't lobby the system right now.
Well, that's the only way you do approach it. Again, they're the newest members of a conference, much like what has happened in recent years. If you're the new kid on the block, the best thing to do is not to beat your chest, but to come along in a slow, progressive way, continue to string those wins together. Let's not forget, it was a championship team, a newcomer to a conference last year that beat Georgia in the championship game.
See, this is what's wonderful about the circumstances, though. It truly is Armageddon. Okay, this is the perfect storm. They're not going to be able to get it right. There are fans now in the Eastern Corridor that are for the first time saying, wait a minute, Rutgers is unbeaten. Every team, they're in the BCS. How can they not play? And the reason is because this system does not account for this kind of storm, which happens more oftentimes than not. What happened last year with Texas and USC, that's an aberration. That's only going to happen once out of every 4 or 5 years.
Well, you know what the old guard is going to say. They're going to hold serve and say that this system was never designed to pick the best 3, 4, 5, and 6 best team in the country, just 1 and 2. But it is breaking down with each year. But one of the things I like what Tranghese said, he said that the system should be open, and he's not locked into this fixed system right now. So I think what this does, it opens up the door for changes to be made. They've got to make another look at it.
Yeah, got to look at plus 1.
It's only a matter of time.
Got to look at plus 1, got to look at maybe a Final Four, some form of elimination. All right, last question, Spencer. We all know about Rutgers, but if Arkansas beats Tennessee tonight, which is the better story? The redheaded stepchild in Fayetteville, the old redhead Frank Broyles would like that, or the Rutgers story?
Well, I paid a visit to Houston Nutt in Arkansas last year. Let me tell you something. The tension in that room, we were in there with Frank Broyles, Houston Nutt, it was palpable. You could feel it. He was under pressure at 4 and 7, possibly getting fired. I think the bigger story, though, is Rutgers. I mean, to me, this is Joe Six-Pack kind of stuff. If you're weak and frail in your everyday life, you become strong and stalwart to the teams like Rutgers that beats all the odds, Timmy. That's the reason why I think Rutgers is a bigger story.
If this were the NCAA tournament, they'd be George Mason. Guess what? They're not. College football dogs the Cinderellas. Well, remember, we'll be with you on Saturday afternoons throughout the season on the College Football Today.